lip liner. That's what I was like finishing
Well,
or
welcome
whatever.
to Pop Your Shit.
Yes. Oh, don't you start your. Here she go. Here she go.
It's okay. Bonnie's gonna be whining in a minute.
Wine.
No, where
Thank
is he? He's
you.
not even in here, but he's about to be whining in 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So he may make
Yes.
an appearance and he may not.
I'm crying.
So,
Thank you. Yes.
ma'am,
Yeah. Oh,
you put
damn.
that in that book like that. What's the book? The novella.
Yes, the wrapped in obsession. Oh Lord.
Where is
Listen.
book two? How are we gonna end
It's
with these
coming.
babies?
It's not even a book two. It's literally book one. Okay, let me explain myself because people have been asking about this, but I purposely didn't want to say anything too deep because I knew we were doing this interview because you asked me like right after I dropped my book. So I was like, I'm gonna wait before I really kind of talk about it for when people like when I could talk about it on live. So if you read Take Me There, which is the first book, my
I'm about
is
to
the
read
first
it
book
in
I've
a,
written.
in a minute.
That's my first book in the Survive Syndicate series. You get introduced to Gian Carter and what takes place in Wrapped in Obsession was 6 months before what happened in Wrapped in Obsession. So yeah, and then at the end, like, and then the epilogue, everything makes sense because the two epilogues coincide with each other. So of both books, and it kind of all catches up. But the world that Wrapped in Obsession it happened because I was writing book two for Take Me the Survive Syndicate series, and I was having a hard time. And actually it was Rael that was like, I'm gonna write a Christmas novella. And I was like, I can write a Christmas novella. I was like, I started this like dark, sultry, like stalker romance last year. Maybe I can pull that out. So I started writing, like going back from what I was writing for that, and then it just clicked, and I said, oh, what if I use these two characters that are going to get their own spin-off series of the Brotherhood that is this Assassins League? And that's how it just came up with that. I was like, what if we get a preamble of how they met? And that's what happened.
Let me just tell you, I'm like stuck in awe because I was like, I know good damn well she didn't end like that.
I'm
At
not gonna
first,
lie.
when I
Yeah.
did the first video, I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah. I won't lie to you. That the It's Okay Dreamy still haunts me. Like it still catches me off guard someday. Like I hear it and I'm like,
But it was the dream that was real that she thought she was dreaming for me. I tried not to give it away. I tried not to give it away. I am trying my hardest because I'm gonna need y'all to go read this. But when I tell you that lady woke up and somebody was munching and another one was doing something else, stop it.
I won't lie. It did take me. I'm used to like if I write something, even when I wrote like my things that I've never published, I have other books that I've written that I haven't published, and spice is always pretty quick. Like I don't really believe it. Like not for me personally, I don't want a slow burn really. But as I'm developing as an author, I'm realizing that it doesn't matter what I want. And
It's not about you. It's about
yes,
the
because
book.
originally originally her coworker, we're not going to give it away too deep, but her coworker, they had like a whole scene in the on-call room type thing. And I was trying to write it and it just wasn't coming to me. And I was like, okay, whatever. And that's why, because it needed to be told in those three different chapters, in those three different perspectives, the way that I did that. They needed only, that was the only spice that needed to be in that book. It just needed to be them.
It was the slow burn for me.
Oh, thank
First of all,
you.
not everybody is a slow burn chick. I don't mind it. I like a good slow burn. I like the anticipation of. You see,
Hmm.
TMI that gets me hot.
Hmm.
TMI.
Draw it
But
out, baby. Draw it out.
I'm just saying it was a slow burn, and them playing this Uno game. What the hell?
That was cute.
Thank you. Um, it was the Uno game, and then them looking at her like you the snack tonight. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, I feel like I'm there.
Oh, thank you. I was a little bit worried how it would be received, I won't lie, because I've like, I my first book came out swinging. Like chapter 3, they were doing something strange with the change. Like, so I was like, oh my goodness, hi. I was like, I don't know how people like how this is gonna come off because I've never done it, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it right. So I'm very happy to hear that you guys like that. It's
I
just
did. I enjoyed that. I was like
yay.
in a live trying to listen to them, but I was like, let me turn y'all down because I got to finish this because right now I'm invested. I need book two immediately.
Yeah, yeah. So that it's coming. It's going to be very complex. I won't even lie to you. It's
It's
their
all right.
story. G and Carter's story goes way back to when they were like teenagers type ish. Like they're very much um there is very complex. Like they've both been through a lot, and this will be like my first very deep emotional, excuse me, book, and it's going to be the men who have something deep rooted that they need to heal from, so that's it. I don't want to be, when I write that, I don't want to be anything else to be in the way, because I'm gonna have to put everything into that.
Woo,
But
I can't
trust me,
wait.
with all that, it's gonna come. And you know
I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. So, if you don't mind me asking, I know you're interviewing me, but I would like to know, other than that, what surprises did you find that you liked in it?
The Uno game, I love that. I
Hmm.
love the ending because I was like, where is book two? Because
Yes.
the phone call wore me out. I I was very intrigued about the kidnapping and then them stalking her. I felt like I was like looking behind my shoulder, like, is somebody
And yeah, it's
I loved
wild.
it in general. Like it just drew me in.
Hmm.
At first, I was like, G and Carter, and then they was like, we gonna have her together. I was like, we gonna do what?
I know.
We
Oh my
doing
gosh.
we
And
doing
listen, thank you guys so much for the gifts. Thank y'all. I really appreciate
I
it.
love
Yeah.
it. Thank y'all. But I'll be back with y'all. I was like, wait a minute, they doing who? And they doing what? And wait,
Yes.
hold on. And how they gonna do this? But they not brothers, but they gonna share. I'm
And
sorry,
how they're gonna
spoiler
and how they're
alert.
gonna do it, and how they're gonna share, and how they're gonna make it work. And I don't think that they even knew how they were going to make it work until it happened. You know what I mean? It was just like they couldn't. They realized very quickly that
They
she
both was
needed both.
interested.
They not just both interested, but they like both, that she needed them both together is like the perfect storm for her. You know what I mean? Like just one wasn't enough, and not saying enough like in a greedy way, but like the one side of their personality wasn't enough. She needed both of their personalities together to create the perfect storm for her.
But listen, listen, perfect storm. I need that. I think I'm ready for that type of relationship.
Do it. I'm gonna always encourage anybody to do whatever to make them happy. Do it, baby. Do it.
I just think that I, I think that one man does not have everything, and sometimes you have to put two to make the complete perfect one.
Hmm.
And at my age, the stamina is not stamina in.
She said, "Cause listen, gotta do what I gotta do. you gotta, you gotta let what needs to happen happen at this point."
Daddy, if you see this, I'm so sorry, but I'm sorry.
And
But
I'm here for you. Just know that I'm over in my little corner of the world going, yes, Nicole, get it. Yes, love her down.
I think
Knock her Mario coins up out of her. Let's go.
I don't even know if it's the Mario coins. I think one is emotional and the other one
Mhm.
needs to be.
Nah.
Yeah, he needs to. I think I'm ready.
Yeah, do it. I'm here for it.
But can I be
I'm
enough
here.
for one, for two? The inquiring minds want to know.
You won't know until you try. You might, you know what I mean? You might not like it, but if you don't try, you won't know if you don't like it.
So let's get into this other bullshit that we get ready to talk about because I think it's still
Okay.
bullshit. Let's talk about this bullshit. Why is it an issue to separate interracial romance from black romance? Somebody black in this. That lady black, right? Because I read her as black.
Yes. Yes, she is. She's very much black. Okay, so listen, any book that you're ever going to get from me, whether it's interracial or not, the female main character will always be black. She will always be black, and I might cross over to like Afro Latina.
They black.
May and she's still black. So like,
She's
you
still
know what I
black.
mean? Like she's still black, very much still black. So
Okay, okay.
but like I that is something that like, I'm not dropping it down to like if she's gonna be light or she's gonna be dark, is she gonna be natural, is she gonna wear we like I'm not doing all
She's
that.
still
All
black.
I know is that she's black. She is black, she is black, she is black, she's always going to be black. So yes, Lorelai is a black woman. She is with her nice little dark orange locks and her gingerbread skin with the freckles on the bridge of her nose, and she has hazel green eyes, but she's 100% black. People were asking me this also was Carter is actually Japanese and Colombian. So this is why often you hear throughout the book that he switches between speaking
Mm-hmm.
Japanese and Spanish. It really depends on his emotion. Like when he's really calm and chill, if you notice, he speaks more like when he's trying to be straightforward, he speaks more Japanese. And when he's more calm and relaxed or really angry, he's really speaking Spanish more than anything. And G is Greek. So, and his name is Gersimo. That is how you pronounce his real name is
Thank you, because
Gersimo.
I was calling that him something altogether different. I'm not
Yes,
gonna
no,
even.
it's Gersimo. His name is
I'm not getting ready.
Gersimo.
I'm like, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. But I was like, thank God she just said you.
Hi. Yes, it's Gersimo, and he's also like his last name his first name is Gersimo and Carter's first name is actually not Carter. So it's something different. Carter's last name is not actually Carter. In this book, and Take Me There, I actually have like the list of all my characters' name and
Mhm.
no, excuse me, I said that wrong. So Carter's real name is Javon Takashi Carter. And then Gerasimo's real name is Dimitri Andreas Gerasimo. So that is their names really, but they don't go by them.
But
He goes
what's
by G and he goes by
interesting to me is that even though they came about this decision real quickly, and he was like, "You're not going back down, and I'm not going back down, so I guess we can share." And I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on." And then they stopped this lady talking about, well, maybe it's a shopping, I nudged her in a grocery store, or I was at the bakery, or she saw me at work, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all was all these places, and y'all, that was planned. I was like,
It was planned. Yes. So that was a little hard for me. I'm a long-winded writer. This is my first time writing something short. I'm not a short. I'm long-winded. My first book was like almost 500 pages. Like I like writing big things. And but I wanted to challenge myself to write this small. And I realized I don't have to always describe everything because I can always come back and talk about it later. You know what I mean?
right, right,
So
right.
I'm so happy that you brought that up and that you noticed that I didn't want to do stalking in the stalking traditional sense. I did want to show like that little scene where, Carter was in her house because I really want to show her how she has these instincts that she tries to ignore and pretend they don't exist because she doesn't want to be a part of the underworld that she grew up in. So she just kind of ignores it. But I wanted to show that she still has those instincts where she like pauses for a second and she's like, wait, what? But yeah, I didn't want to stalk her like, weirdly, because I like dark romance and I like writing dark romance, but I'm not dark romance, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted it to be like they integrated themselves so much in her life that she didn't even realize that she was already attached to them. So that it was like little to no fight once they got together. And I'm like, that is like the perfect, like, I know it sounds crazy, but that's like the perfect stalking. Like, imagine being stalked by somebody who made you so used to them, their smell, their presence, and you unknowingly didn't know this, that you're so desensitized to them that when they make themselves known that you're like, in this case, since they napped her, they're like, she just went with it. Like, at first she was freaking out, but she went with it because she's like, I just feel like they're mine. Like, I know them, that like we are meant to be here. I don't know why until it clicks later. And she's like, oh my God, I saw them in the grocery store. I saw them in the shop. Like, I saw them all these places.
Like,
I
oh,
don't
you're at the
remember.
bank and they were there too. Or they were
Yes.
at work in the hallway. I was like, wait a minute.
Mhm.
Okay, so the other part that had me was like when she got those flowers and she kept them. I was like, what the fuck is you doing? Wait a minute, the way I was in here screaming, I know my son was like, Mom, what is the issue? I was like, why is she keeping the flowers?
Because why is she keeping them? And they not even the first flowers that she got. He's told y'all that he's left her many of flowers, and she keeps like, I don't know. I think she talked they talked to me, my characters talked to me, and I think like, yes, like, not even like, not even, yes, in her way she was like a little delusional, Tylee. So like, I feel that in Lorelai's defense is that she sees, just like how she paused in her house and then brushed it off, that that's what she keeps doing to herself because she wants to disconnect so badly from the underground world, because she wants to set herself apart from her family, that she's like, whatever, like, you know what I mean, and trying to trick, like almost like she's tricking herself in her head, like, oh, I must have bought these and didn't remember because I work so much, I'm so tired, like, kind of thing, when really, like, no honey, you had white lilies here and now there's black roses with a red one in the center. That's alarming.
That is
That's alarming.
crazy.
That's alarming. Alarming. Hmm.
And then I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I'm telling too much.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go
And
ahead.
then I was like, okay, so she got these flowers. Then the doctor got what? What the hell was that? Well, okay, so is there a story in the other book? Is there? Because he was batshit ass crazy.
Yeah, so in their full novel, because that was like the, prequel kind of thing, in their full novel, you'll learn more about Soren. You'll know about
Okay.
how he's tied into like literally everything somehow. Like their main reason of going to Colorado, he's tied into all of that at the same time.
Okay,
So
I
it's
gotta
like,
go after
yeah,
that. I was
yeah.
like, okay, I don't want to just come on here and be like, I didn't read your book, but I was so pressed for time. I said, at least let me get this novella out the way. Girl, when I tell you, I'm
Hmm.
about to be kicking my feet, rubbing them, laughing. I'm excited. I'm so
Yeah.
invested now.
Yes. Oh, well, I'm excited for you to meet Henrik and Faven. That's who's in book one. They're quite Faven's something else.
I was like,
And I pride myself. I love seeing I like writing. I realize that I like doing this because I used to write like very straightforward characters, not one dimensional at all, but there wasn't like anything hidden. Like what you got, what you seen is what you got about them, right? But with my both of my books, I've noticed what I did is that there's more complexity that's underneath it that you have to pay attention to pick it up. Like there's a reason for everything that goes on. Thank you, Denise. That there's a reason why like all these things happen, or like why, and when you read Fabian's book, why she's so sporadic with her emotions all the time.
right,
There's a
right.
reason. There's a really big reason. So to y'all, to some people who are not really paying attention when they're reading, and that's how I can tell who's really reading and who's just reading to read, um is that y'all pick up like why she's doing that makes sense. You're like, I can see why she's doing that. And it's not so much that like, oh my gosh, she's writing something that's not really like, it's all over the place, but there's a reason why it's like that. And it explains it, but not in your face explains it. And I was like really proud of that because some people did really pick it up, just like a lot of people did actually pick up about the whole how they integrated themselves into Lorelai's life. and she didn't even know. And people were like, wow, like I said it, but it was so quick and but it made sense. And they were like, yeah, that makes sense why she was so attached to them. And so I'm excited. I can't wait for you to meet them. The Spy Syndicate is gonna be crazy. That's book those have 3 books in that series in total. And it's wild. It is. I don't know if you ever heard anyone's talk about, but it's about a woman-led syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
So a black woman-led syndicate, excuse me, and
Mm-hmm.
all the mess that goes on with that will be fun.
I am excited because, girl, because I was like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on here? Wait a minute. So, good girl Reese, she just came in here. I'll be channeling her when I be doing my reviews because she be like, well, hold on. But he said, and she said, and
Yes.
I did that through the whole book, which is funny to me because I was like, ooh, did he, did he just,
Hi. Oh, that's my mom.
hi, mom? I'm like, did he just, but wait, hold on. And I did that, I promise you, through the whole book. But wait a minute.
So happy. Oh my gosh, because I
I'm
always second guess
excited.
myself about it, and I was like, I'm so nervous. Like
You just
but
talking to me.
I'm happy. I'm so happy that you liked it.
So, what's your take on interracial? Let's just
Let's go down the list. Okay, let's go down the list. My take on interracial romance. Is that in a hindsight, personally for me, thank you. In hindsight for me is that it is still in my eyes black romance because it's about loving black women.
right.
It may not be black woman, black male romance, of course, you know what I mean? But it is still, I really think that it still is in the representation and in the realm of black romance because it's showing that black women can be loved no matter what, right? And that they don't have to hold out because society tells them, oh, you should stay in your lane of races to find love, that you should just get love where you're received at. And so, and I also, I am kind of new to interracial romance reading. Um, because we all started, like, I mean, I started reading my mom's, yeah, sorry, mom, you're probably gonna hear this. Like one year I was like 12 and I grabbed, I think, an Eric Jerome Dickey. I think I grabbed Eric Jerome Dickey's, but nope, it was not. It was Omar Tyree. It was Fly Girl. I picked up Fly Girl and I read that and I was like, what? Because if anybody asks you, I hated to read. I hate ask if my mom will tell you, me getting me
No.
to read was like because when I got in trouble when I was little, my mom would be like, write the dictionary. And I was traumatized by words. It happened twice and I'll never do it again. I was like, never again. This is the worst summer ever. And so uh I just wasn't a big reader, which is wild because my mom is a poet. She writes, and it's just that creative aspect of writing has been instilled in me. I've always loved words, but I really wasn't like, oh, like I don't want to read. Like, like, oh, it's stuck. I don't want to read. None of these sound fine. And then I remember I read that book and I was like, oh, this is so good. So I read more and more and more. And then any free time that I had when I didn't have other obligations, I was in the library in the little corner reading like anything I could get my hands on all the time. Yes, I was like really deep in hood novels, and then it turned into me just reading whatever looked interesting to me. I was like, I'm reading it. And then I fell off for a while, and then I picked it up again, and I was reading a lot of just like regular romance.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I just got like a on my Kindle. This is when Kindle Unlimited started, like what
Mm-hmm.
3 4 years ago. Kindle
Mm-hmm.
Unlimited started, and so that's when they really started recommending new books, right?
Right.
And Blue Sapphire popped up, and I was like, oh, what is this book? It was called Legally Bound, and I was like, okay, sounds like it's in the realms because I was like really into like BDSM, like romance books. So I was like, oh, legally bound. Are we bounding people? Oh, read that. So I went to go read it and it had nothing to do with BDSM. I just want to let y'all know that. It didn't. And it did not, but it was such a good book. And I was like, wait a second. And I like messaged her on Instagram and I said, hey, is the female in this book, is she black? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, because my husband's white. So I never read books that was representation of my life.
Right,
You
right,
know what I
right.
mean? Majority of my life, like I've dated all kinds of races, but majority of people that I've dated have been white or Asian. So I'm like, I never read books that like show a black girl with a white guy. It's always like a black girl with a black guy or a white girl with a white girl or like, you know what I mean? Or a Spanish girl. It was never like that kind of interaction. And I was like, and so I like dug deep into like her books, and then it started recommending like Evelyn Sola, Kenya Wright, Kenya Barry Bell, Keita Kendrick, Tiffany Patterson, all these people, Sian Vega, and they just started recommending, and I just fell deep in a hole, and I was like, and I think honestly it was 2023. It took me a while to convince myself, but it was 2023, and I read an S.K. Lovely book. And her thing at the end was like, if you want to submit something to our publishing company, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I can write an interracial romance.
Right.
I can do this. I've written many things before. I have an arsenal, but I was like, but I want to sit down and really, and it was supposed to be a paranormal romance. And then it turned this, but Take Me There was like in my mind, like it wouldn't let me go. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna put you over here real quick, and then I'm gonna write this interracial romance. And I wrote it, and I'm just so happy about it. And although it's very difficult sometimes pushing um interracial romance in the black book talk space, I feel like, because everybody's like, oh, black romance, and dark romance is starting to now pick up. But I was just like really like, hey, read this dark interracial romance. It seemed like very like I was pushing like a boulder up a hill a little bit because everybody was like fighting. There was so much discourse about should interracial romance be in black book talk or is it not like really part of
Why
black
not?
romance? And it's like, why not? Because it's a black woman being loved correctly no matter what. And I will tell you that it won't be I won't only write interracial. The girl will always be black though, but it won't always be interracial. It's really whatever the male decides to tell me he is, and then I go from there. I'm like, oh, okay.
It 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 boggles my mind
Hmm.
how narrow-minded some people can be. Now, I might be narrow-minded in that I'm not going on to the other side, period, because I don't see myself there.
Hmm.
I don't care that as long as the main male character, I mean the main character, one of the main male character, the male or female is black, because I need to be able to see myself.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It
I do
doesn't
see.
matter who's loving them as long as they're being loved correctly. Now, if it's a black man, I might get a little resistance, but I'm gonna read it because I'm nosy.
Okay.
But I'm in an interview. Thank you. Um, but if it has to be a black main character, it
Hmm.
cannot not be that, or it's going to lose me because again, for centuries, for the 9,000 years I've been alive, I've always had to
Not,
read.
not, bye.
Right, right. Just call me Methuselah. Uh, it's always been read this book, read this book, read this book, and this it has nothing to do with me. I don't see myself.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as long as I can see myself in the story, I'm gonna read it. I like a good listen, my whole I thought I didn't know if that was a fantasy, but I like Asian men. I
Asian
do.
man? You said Asian
I do.
man? Don't get
I
me in
do.
trouble on this app.
But you know what's funny
Don't,
is
they are my kryptonite for real.
yeah,
They
I mean
really
I
are.
do, but you know what got me was it was Insecure, the show Insecure, when Molly was dating what was his name? Oh
I don't
my
remember saying,
god.
but I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes.
I was
I
like,
said, go, Molly.
yes. And then when I researched him a little further, he's actually married to a black woman. I was like,
Mm.
that's how you know how to handle us. He was like, stop playing. Stop playing,
Truthfully, I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of Filipino, Laos, and Vietnam, like Vietnam men are married to black women. It's actually quite
I know my son
common.
has a black girlfriend. I mean,
Yeah.
a Filipino girlfriend.
Yeah, it's
Thank
a
you.
very, very, very common. Thank you, Mimi's. Yeah, it's super common. I dated quite a few of Asian men. Actually, my oldest son is Filipino.
It's
His
okay.
dad's from the Philippines. And so like I've always, even when I was a little girl, I don't even know if my mom remembers, but I used to always say, I'm gonna marry an Asian man. That did not happen. My husband is very much white. It's been
But you
cooking for
married
a
who you
minute,
were
girl.
supposed to marry.
Yes, it was cooking for a while. Like so I do plan on writing an Asian a white black woman Asian male romance at some point. I don't know, other than Carter obviously because he's Asian and Spanish, but I will have one where he's just completely
Well,
Asian. I
Carter
haven't just
got me.
decided.
I'm a Carter fan. Just point him my way.
Carter, I won't even lie to you. So when I made the visual for Carter, it was, I was like, I knew in my head kind of how I wanted him to look. I was like, I want him to, you look at him and you're like, but is he Asian or is he something else? Like, you know what I mean? And while sometimes Asian and it depending what part of Asia that they're from, and Latino men look quite similar, right? Especially Filipino to Latino men, they look quite similar, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, but I don't want him to look really like I want to somehow define it in Chef's Kiss how that happened. I don't even know, but I'm like that's exactly what I'm talking about because one you squint one eye, you're like, nah, man, definitely he's gonna be like Japanese or something, and then you squint the other eye and you're like, nah, but he really looked like Ayo Papi. So like, which one are we doing? What are we doing? And I
Listen,
loved it.
I live in the Bay Areas. It's nothing but Filipinos. It's nothing but Mexicans. But it's okay because
Yes.
that's what's here.
Mm-hmm.
Filipinos, Mexicans, all the Asians, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
I like a good lumpia, and then I like a good burrito. Just give me some pancit and some chicken adobo,
Oh
and
my
then I
god,
want an enchilada and some plantas or something.
I'm crying. Don't let my son hear you. He come running. He said, "What she said about Bunsey?" Like so quick, I heard it in my spirit or something. That's his jam
I'm
for
just
real.
saying. I mean, I like pasta. That's like my favorite. Every time my son, they have a little thing, I was like, Nicholas, tell the people to bring me back some pasta. I be
It's
such a good mama.
good. It's good. Yes, good. No, Filipino food is really good. Let me tell you, I ain't gonna lie to you. My son's grandmother, when she be making hers Lola, when she makes beef and broccoli, hold on, let me
Hmm.
see some of that. Look,
This right here. That's why I can't get rid of none
put
of
it on
this.
the plate. Put it on the plate.
All of
Put
it.
it on the plate.
So what we do is we trade off. I send her soul food. So my son
Hmm.
takes whatever I'm cooking for Thanksgiving or Christmas, whenever they're having their big thing, and if I'm cooking something out, he'll take the gumbo or whatever,
Hmm.
and they taste it. And so one year, I think I made fried ribs, macaroni and cheese, and it was something else, some greens and something else. So the mother tasted it. She was like, "Oh no, get your own." She sent this for me, and I was like, "Well, no, I actually sent it for your daughter." She was like, "This is for me."
I
And
love
so
it.
she sent
Listen.
back some pancet, some lumpia, and there was some chicken adobo and something else.
Hmm.
I was like, my son was trying to have, I was like, no, she sent this for me.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes, I do love me some good. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, hold
so
on. Hold on. I'm cosplaying as a mom at the same time as I'm doing this interview, y'all.
it's okay.
Can I help you? Yes. Yes. Okay, thanks. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, it's your be fine. It's just thunder. If y'all can sit quietly in my room, you can sit in my room, but you have to be quiet. Where they daddy at? Come home.
I will try and edit that out as best as I can.
No, you're fine. No, it doesn't even matter. We can hang up this right now,
But
and I'm
I'm
still gonna be
not,
like,
I'm
where this man
again,
at?
I love this because it shows readers that you have a full life. It can't,
I do.
like we'd be like, where book two at? Crank it out. I got these kids. I got a whole husband.
Yeah.
I got dinner to cook. I got a dog. Some
I
people
have two.
might have a
I
job.
have two. I have two dogs. One, they're barking right now.
It's things going on in my household.
No, I know. I don't know. I will say that my kids are actually quite very understanding. My oldest daughter, she just came in here and she's like, "Are you still in your interview?" Because I talk to them and I'm like, "Hey, look, I need to write." And they'd be like, "Are you still writing your book? Are you done yet?" And they'll be like, "Mom, how's your book going?" And I'm like, "It's going good." And sometimes I'd be like, "Please go. I need to write. Stop talking to me. I'm getting overstimulated."
But
Shut up.
how does that work? How does that work for you? Are they excited that my
They
mom's an
are.
author?
They
Or
are.
how does it feel to see your name on the title of a book? How does that feel?
It's surreal. It's something that I wanted to do for quite some time. Um, don't get me up here crying.
Come on
Um,
now.
yeah, because it's very surreal and I don't talk about it a lot, but um I am when people say like, I'm really hard on myself and blah blah blah, but like it's like to the max of myself. I have a really my bestie. I have a really hard time believing in myself and following through with stuff because I end up psyching myself out, talking myself out of something. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, you're faking it. Like, you're faking it. Everyone's going to know you're an imposter. Why do you think that you can write books? Why do you think you can be up here doing this? Why do you think that you can, play instruments and sing? Like, I'm actually very multifaceted. I can do like quite a lot of things because I love to dabble in a lot of things and I end up psyching myself out. But I said to myself that, when I sat down and started writing this book, I was like, you know what you're going to do? You're just going to get a word, one word after the other. You know what I mean? One word, it's just one word after the other. And I remember when I wrote Take Me There and I was writing and I did writing sprints where I learned it in this other group that I found on Facebook. And I think one day I went so hard. I think it was 6,000 words that day. And I was like, oh, 6,000 words today? Oh my God. Like I was like so shocked. And, my kids were celebrating with me and they ask. And, I think the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this that really lit me up is that my oldest daughter, who she's such a joy. She really is, right? She's super feisty, like call her our Viking princess, because you never know if you're gonna get nice and sweet or you're gonna get say something if you want to, because she and she came up to me and she said, "Hey mom, this year for 2025, can we write a book together?" She wants to write a children's book. And I was like, unbeknownst to her, that when she was 4, so in 2020, she was having a really hard time being scared of the dark and like always thinking something was in her closet. So we ended up taking the closet door off. 4-year-old stuff, they're scared. And I started writing, I don't ever say my kid's name, so I won't say her name, but I called it Her First Name Adventures, right? And it's about how this little girl who was always scared, and that when she goes into the closet, what she finds. And then it's about like all this stuff, and like basically bravery is teaching children how to be brave. And unbeknownst to her, I had already started that in 2020 and I forgot about it. And I had recently just found it like 2 months ago in my notes that I was like, I was writing that. I was like, dang, I forgot all about this. And she came up to me and was like, "Hey mom, can you write a book?" I was like, "Well, actually, what if I already started something?" And she's like, "Can I see?" And she read it and she goes, "Can we please write that?" And she just started rapid firing ideas to me. And she was just like, "But what if instead of this?" Because that was the same year that I had my youngest daughter, was in 2020. She goes, "What if the thing that what it was that it's a new sister?" And I was like, "You're so cute." And I think that is probably like, yes, I can get a million reviews. I can get a million pages read. I can sell out books. I can be, the hottest new thing all over the world. Everyone's reading my books and I'm interviewing everywhere. But it was my daughter saying to me that inspired her and that she wants to write books. And it's my oldest son, who is a phenomenal artist, who constantly asks me, can he draw pictures for my books for me? And I have to tell him no, because he's 14. And I'm like, baby, I can't let you draw some of these pictures. Like, I don't want you to. How about we work on something for you and not don't touch nothing over here. These books are not for you, you know. And my daughter's always like, "How old do I have to be before I can read one of your books, baby?"
You need to
A
be
long time.
472 because
You need to.
my
So you need to be married with at least 4 kids. And she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a long time." So yes, 100%,
as long
a
as you
hundred
know.
percent, 100%. You know, um, but if I could say anything, that is honestly my favorite thing is that it's inspired my kids. And
Oh,
yeah, with great grandkids, right, girl? You can read it when you get great grandkids. So I definitely that has been my favorite thing
how
about
does your
writing.
mom? How did she? I mean, because if she's a poet, I know she was like, my baby is an author.
So she actually got my book and she read it. I don't know if she's read the second one yet. But she definitely started reading the first. She started reading the first one, and she's always telling people. And actually, I talked to her like a little bit ago, like a couple days ago, or like last week or something. And oh, the Bronx is in the building. Ew, yes. Um, and she was like, she was at work, and one of her coworkers was like, she goes, "Oh no, I'm talking to my daughter." She goes, "Oh yeah," and then her friend goes, "The author," and she goes, "Yes." She goes, "One of your fans are here," and I'm like, "Oh my god, stop." Don't talk about it, so yeah, she is pretty excited about it. I do have a really good support system behind me when it comes to my writing, and that keeps me accountable, one that I found here and one that's in my everyday life. Shout out to my bestie Leslie. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. She was in here. I don't know if she still is because she's in California at Disneyland. I don't want to talk about it. She didn't even invite me, Nicole. My feelings are hurt. She couldn't even stuff me in a suitcase. I would have went. And but yeah, so my look, she goes, I my when I tell you get you one, when they be like, you need to get you one of these, it's Leslie. She really for real Ace Boone Coon. She's heard me change my mind 15,000, 5,000,000 gazillion times. And she's like, oh, yeah. And she's always invested to hear something. And I think that everybody needs that. Needs somebody who's not really like, she's like, I've pulled her more back into the reading because she kind of, we all leave reading a little bit. She's back into it heavy. But, putting her in this world of like book talk and bookstagram and all this stuff, and she really like is always like, hey, blah blah blah, and like, how many words did you write today? Did you write today? Like, what's going on? And when I tell her like this idea, and we'll be like, can I read you this chapter? And she's like, tell me right now. I'm folding laundry, but I can hear you. Or I'm sitting up at her house, holed up in her little like loft, her lair, typing away just in silence, and she's just silently building her Legos just like for the moral support to body double me. I think that like the support is so big, and my husband too, who I like to joke and call him my sugar daddy because he be funding all this for real, because I cosplay also as a stay-at-home mom. So I cosplay a lot of things, to be honest. And so he funds all this. I gotta be sometimes doing like, do you wanna be like that, like that? To get a book cover or something like that. Like I gotta do what I gotta do, baby. These books is not cheap. These editors are not cheap. These barcodes. Have you ever tried to buy ISBN? Whew, Joyce is expensive. So I gotta do what I gotta do. These copyrights are expensive. I gotta shake. You know what I mean? I gotta be like, what you need me to put on? You need me to do a dance with me? Like, drop it. I don't got mega
sure.
knees. I listen. If I get down, I ain't getting back up. So I ain't got the mega knees or nothing. But I do a little something strange for a piece of change.
Just get
Just
up,
pay this.
just get on the wall and just drop it and bring
So
it back
yeah.
up.
So if y'all read at the end, the people who I dedicate the book to, who I think, don't be alarmed when every time I say thank you, Grandpa Bob, for being my sugar daddy, because it's really my husband. I'm just letting y'all know. That's just what I call him. That's what we call him. We call him Grandpa Bob, but
But he get it. He
he
sees it.
does.
He would not fund it if he did not see the vision.
No, he is. I will say, I also would not be where I am without him with this, because when he was the one, I was like, I don't care if you decide to not work, if you become a stay-at-home mom, because I've always worked. I've always took care of people. It's my thing. I'm used to providing, and I'm not depending on anyone. And when we moved to Texas from New York, he said, I don't care if you don't work. I was pregnant with our third kid, and he was like, I just want you to find something that makes you happy, even if it doesn't make us any money. And I was like, bitch, I'm getting a job.
Where the brother at?
I said, bitch, I'm getting a job. So, oh, he lives in Houston. He's single.
Is he my age? Ish?
No, he young. He young. Wait, how old is my husband? My husband, we 35. So he's
He's too young.
38. Yeah, he's 30. He's 38. So he young.
He need
He
about
young
10 more
boy.
years.
He need about 10 more years. Yeah. I'm trying listen, I'll be trying to hook him up for real because he's single right now. So I'll be like,
Ladies.
he's a good man. He works really hard. He comes from a really beautiful, good mom. I love my mother-in-law. That's my boo. That's my BFF for lifeies. And she's like, I want to read your book. No.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But are you going to let her read your book?
I am. Listen, this lady be watching. She'd be like, she's like, did you see that episode of Power? I'd be looking at her like,
Power.
no. Oh no, let me tell you. No, listen here. Let me listen here. That lady, the first year that I met her was when Empire was really deep. That's when in 2015 when me and my husband started dating. And when we went up to her house because he lived an hour away. We get in there and he's like, Mom, we're here. And you just hear her like she's not answering. So we climb, we get up the stairs and she's in to some song from Empire going like this. When I tell you this blonde haired, green eyed Italian woman was living her best life, who grew up in rural upstate New York, was going in like she was from 125th in Harlem. Okay. She was living her best life. And I was like, do it, baby. She did. She was so mad, cursing the TV out when they canceled Star. So I was like, you could probably read this, but I don't know if I feel comfortable. Just don't talk to me about it. And she goes, you think I don't read books with sex in it? I do. I was like, I don't need
Somebody
to
look at
know
you no
that.
kind of way. She probably be like, girl.
No, she won't. She will be like, I like that. You got another one? Listen, she's something else. Like, listen, she's something else for real. For
But does
real.
it ever get old when someone be like, oh, that's Tash, she's an author?
No, because I think because I also don't believe it myself. So I don't think that it will ever not feel surreal to me. And I want to actually keep that. I don't want to ever become so used and so complacent in being an author that it doesn't surprise me and overwhelms me in the good way when people talk about how I'm an author and they love my books.
I need you to own it.
Well, no, it's not that I don't own it, but I'm saying like sometimes I'm like, am I an author? Like, damn, I really wrote some books, but I always feel like I want to be on that side of humble to the point
And
that
you can
every
still
time
be on that
someone,
side of
yeah,
humble.
I'm trying to make money, not let it make me.
Listen, tell the people.
God, listen, like I own that. Here she come. Yeah, so I'm such a humble person. I really don't, I'm not like brag, brag, brag. It's so hard for me.
But you know
It's
what?
so
I'm the
hard.
same way. I'm the same way. So I'm not judging because I'm the same way. Where I'll be like, oh, I do this, and this.
Probably.
No, no. I only reason why I pop my shit is because I have to. It's not because I want to. It's because I have to. I need,
Hmm.
but I do want the world to know that we have this class of black people who write books and their shit is top tier.
You were not wrong. You were not wrong. Let me tell you, when the indie space, they are, I don't care what anybody says, can't nobody tell me I'm wrong, that the traditionally published companies are trying so hard to push indie authors down, and that's across the board. I'm not even just saying like being black or being white. It doesn't matter. The indie space, period. They are literally trying to shut us down so much. And then they're trying to pick up as many indie authors as they can, but not really doing them full justice for real because they want to bury us because for real, we are really talented in here.
I was because so okay. I don't know if you were ever in on that conversation I had with Jacquel J, but she said she shopped Capone and Capodanno, and they didn't want it.
I know they punch in the air and sliding down the wall right now.
They need to be. They need to be fired.
they're gagging. Do you hear me? They're gagging.
That
And you
lady
know,
is number one, two, and three.
yes. You know, like I told you before that when I first started going into writing again and picked it back up, and I was like, I want to be published. I'm gonna do it. Do this time. I'm not gonna talk myself out of it. Because before I started writing romance, I wrote a lot of women fiction. I really actually do like writing women fiction, y'all. But when I wanted to go back into writing, like I said, I was inspired by reading that book by S.K. Leslie, and I think at the time she was signed to Jessica Watkins,
Mm-hmm.
and that Jessica was like, "Oh, you know, put it." And I remember when I read that, it was the second time I saw it, and I said, "No, this is a sign. This is a
Right.
sign." And I called Leslie, and I was like, "I think I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna submit it to be published, like to a publisher." And she said, "Do it." And I was like, "Okay, okay," you know. And then so I did. I started because it was a shifter romance that I had read, but I was like, I don't want to do a shifter. So I wrote a different kind of paranormal. I'm not gonna tell you about that yet. Like maybe we talk about when we said, "Well, you're gonna write down the line," then we'll get there. But I was writing that, and then I started writing "Take Me There," and I was still gonna shop it, but something in me would not allow me to. And I was like, what about it is not allowing me to go that? And I was like, and then it clicked that I said, I don't think I want to be traditionally published. I know it's hard to be an indie publisher right now, but honestly, I don't want anyone to try to stifle my voice because I'm always write what I want to write, baby.
Right.
I'm always write where the voices take me. I'm always going to be like, you know what I mean? The project I'm working on now, I thought it was going to be interracial romance. And that man said, you know, I'm black, right?
I saw that live, and you was like, "He told me he was black," and I
He told
thought
me he was black. And I
he
said,
said,
"Oh."
"Well,
I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess you are who you is." And I will always follow the voices that tell me. You know, someone asked me what inspires you to write, and I said that I have a million stories to tell, but they don't belong to me. They belong to people. They belong to y'all. These books that are in my brain that play like movies on endless loops, they don't belong to me. They belong to y'all, and I need to get them out. And I feel like I don't have enough time. And I'm like, y'all can create AI for literally everything. Can someone create it to snatch this motion picture out my brain and put it on a paper?
but what's interesting is in I'm sorry, I'm bad with the book names.
Okay.
In the novella, the what is it?
Wrapped in obsession.
Wrapped in Obsession. That read like a movie.
Good. That was my goal for that. Yeah, that was my goal
That
for that. I'm
read
ready.
like a freaking movie because I was like, so in this scene, I was like, wait a minute, this is reading like a whole movie. It read no
Oh,
for real. When you said that, I was like, it clicked, and it was like it did read like a movie.
wow. That's my
It
first time
did.
hearing that, y'all. Y'all really just because I see them. These honestly for Take Me There, the whole Survived Syndicate series, that all of those books constantly play like a loop in a movie in my head. Sometimes something will change very small. Like since I've already written Faven and Henrik's book, because each book will be a different couple. But the stories in that book is all the same. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
movie, but just different couples, right? And Faven's book is done. You'll see, of course, in the other parts of the series, but like everything from then on, like little pieces will change and it kind of will change the trajectory of how the film moves. But literally, constantly, it's in a loop. This book I'm writing now, constantly in a loop. I have like three books this year. I think I'm sending out four books this year, if I'm not mistaken. And they are constantly like, doosh, constantly. And my husband actually joked the other day because I was like, I woke up with another headache. He goes, probably all them damn movies playing in your head. You ain't wrong. It probably really is.
It
It
probably
really is.
is.
And then on top of that, I have very vivid dreams. So like it just never stops. It's always going up here.
Not that he's like, oh yes, the foolishness in your head. It's
It's
true.
those movies in your
It's
head.
those
You're
movies.
constantly thinking of something new. Yeah, I am. I'm always like, oh, got an idea. That's what poor
Is
Leslie
that
for real.
me? Because I always have a story in my head. Like
Write it.
I know. Do you hear this foolishness behind me?
I do.
My dog is going in. I'm so sorry,
No,
y'all.
you're fine. It's
But
not
I
even
don't
it's
want to
not
move
loud.
him because then it'll be whining.
Yes. Let him sleep. Let him don't you wake that dog. Don't you
I'm not, but he on his
oh my
back.
God.
His paws are in the air.
Yes, I know. Don't you have like a little chihuahua, right? Or something, right? Okay,
Chihuahua.
because I have one of my dogs is a Chiweenie. And he's like that because you know, like they like you come near them and they instantly go on their back, like, you love me. Like, what are you doing? Get off the floor.
I'm outside trying to get him, and he on his back.
You know,
Get your
it's like,
ass up off the
get
back.
in the goddamn house. Yes.
And then I have black dogs. Listen, my dogs understand me. If I say get your ass up out of here, they know they need to keep moving real quickly. They know what rest your nerves mean. That means go to bed because I'm tired of you.
Yeah,
Who shitted in here? Sorry, y'all. TMI. They know somebody did something they didn't have no business
yeah, they
doing.
know. I know. I my dogs know. Like I treat them like my children for real. Like I'd be like, I call them first and middle name. You've probably seen me on live and heard me say it. And I'd be like, Chewbacca Charles, Oliver Walter, and they'd be like, "Ooh." And
My dogs don't have no middle names.
oh yeah,
That's
my dogs have first
funny.
and middle names. They do, yeah, first and middle
Mm-mm.
names. And they
Skittles
have
and
their nicknames
Cookie.
as Chewy and Ollie. So like, I also like. And my husband's like, you would do that. I'm like, if you let me get a cat, you'll be surprised. She have six names.
Mm-mm. I got Skittles. I got Cookie. And Skittles, Cookie's pet name is Pretty Girl. No, Cookie, yeah. We call her Pretty Girl.
Hmm.
She's the twerker in the family. She knows how to drop it like it's hot. She know how to look back at it because she will look back at
And
it.
you know, Chihuahua would be like, can
Right.
you stand
Just hide the tail.
it?
And then
No reason.
you have Skittles with his own mean stuff. He's taking on my personality, which is weird. So he's moody. He's mean sometimes. He's whatever. He's fat like me.
Stop! I can't with you.
Just a whole hot mess. But he is on his back. Well, he stopped snoring. But he
So
listen.
you're not gonna talk about me. What's that
Listen.
snorting? I'm
I
talking
think
about
because I
me.
called his name, he done
He
woke
said,
up
well,
out of it.
I
But
can't even look
anyway,
at my dogs.
I digress. So let's get to some of the questions about you.
Yeah.
Identify yourself. How would you describe your no, identify. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Hmm. I would say relentless.
Boom. I like that. I like that. I like that. I do. I like that for you.
Thank you.
Um, what are the ingredients to a good character?
Ooh.
What are
I
your
would
ingredients?
my ingredients to a good character, I would say is bold,
Hmm?
independent, and loving would be a perfect and silly also. Doesn't take themselves seriously. You can always find that, and especially my female main characters, like or any honestly, any of my characters really, even the secondary characters, you're always gonna find someone who is not taking it very seriously. They're just gonna say the most out of the box shit for no reason.
But is G really unserious at any time yet? Will we see that side of him?
Yes. I had to think about I'm not gonna lie, I know that looked weird what I just did, but I literally had to like ask him a little bit in my brain, like, are you? Yes, he will. He doesn't show it a lot, but that's a part of the complexities because of the things that he's been through in his life. He said it a little bit about like, being an orphan and in foster care and things like that, but it's deeper, it's way deeper than that. Okay. It's very, very deep what he's been through that actually ties into their whole reason of being there and he didn't know at first. Everything connects. And as Lorelai, because she, if you know, she's very unserious. She's gonna say whatever she wants to her mind, come out her mouth, right? um, he's going to kind of adopt that same, like he's gonna feel comfortable enough to let down his seriousness and be not. I won't say like he'll still always hold a very high level of seriousness, but he will definitely have
He'll be
moments where
open with
he's
her.
silly. Yeah, he'll have moments where he just be saying, and people are gonna be shocked, like. Did you just say that? Was that it? What?
I can see that. I can see that.
We could talk about that when I'm done. Okay, 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 honey. It's okay. They tell me about a sticker, girl. Nah, I do not care about this sticker. Look, and they let him in.
Hi. Oh, you have Cookie's eyes.
You see, he said, I may have done something I wasn't supposed to. He tried to lick me. You don't lost your mind. Okay, all right. Sorry, that was long-winded. Go ahead,
That's
next question.
okay. That's okay. Um, how do you determine what ethnicity your characters are going to be?
They tell me. Other than the females, they're always going to be black because all of them also holds a piece of me. Lorelai very much was my red, like, my burnt orange locks that
Mm.
came from me. And her like, I think that I'm gonna try to write someone bigger, but I'm only 5'2". So like I will probably write people who are like 5'5" and below because I'm short. And so yeah, like she will always be black but like the woman will always be black. But the males, they determine, they literally like just tell me, like I said, this book I'm writing now, he was like, can you stop trying to make me white? Because that's not who I is. I'm black, right? And I'm like, okay, dang, you ain't gotta keep saying it. He said the N word 50 times so far, and I'm only on chapter 5. Relax, bro. Because I don't even say the N word. Why are you saying it so much? It's weird now.
But
Weird.
that's his characteristic.
And
That's
that's who he
him.
is. And
He
that's
was
who he
telling
is.
you,
And
I'm a NIGGA for this bitch.
yes, that's his thing. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Oscar Freeman, I love it. Are you an outliner,
Hell
or
no,
are you
girl.
you just right for the seat of your pants?
I am a pantser all the way. I've tried so hard to become a planner. I have tried so hard to become a planter. I've tried so hard to be a note taker. I've tried so hard to like put myself in this box. And I think why it was so easy for me to write Wrapped in Obsession was because I said, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna write this shit. Like I said, I'm gonna write this and my editor's gonna get what she's gonna get, and then if she needs to clean it up, she can do that. And it came back and she's like, there's some things, but not really a lot for real. And I'm like, okay, good. Like I'm happy to hear that. But I'm a very much a pantser writer, and I cannot write sporadically. I have to write chronologically. The way that it unfolds in my head as a movie is the way that I have to write it out. I can't jump and be like, well, I'm not getting anything for the scene. Let me move on. I can't do that because